Are we on yet?
Yes.
We're on, all right. Welcome everybody to Quarantini World. And thank you everybody at Jazz FM for giving me that nice award tonight. Best bacon sandwich of the year.
Best blues bacon sandwich.
Best blues
of the
bacon
year.
sandwich of the year. Sorry. I'll drink to that. Cheers everybody. Happy Quarantini hour. He said as a hurricane was bearing down, or bearing up, coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. Another hurricane, number 6 of the last few months.
Feels like 85.
It does. Feels like loads of them. Thank you. If there's anybody watching out there, let us know where you are. Let us know how many hurricanes you're expecting this weekend.
It's not a weekend.
Oh no, it's not a weekend.
It's
Hard to tell these days. Tuesday feels like a Saturday. Yeah. So here we are in Funk Headquarters Studios. Update, working on a new record, new Absolute Monster Gentleman record. Been doing some percussion today. And it's all sounding rather funky and rather soulful, I must say. It's been fun. It's been my project in lockdown. And we've been having some issues with the Facebook thing. And I've been doing some research, and so has everybody else, apparently. After about half an hour, it all starts crapping out. So something's afoot. Not quite sure what, but we might have to rejig the Quarantini hour, maybe shift it over to the Patreon site or something. Anyway, hopefully it won't crash out too soon today. And so I'm here at the piano, and if anyone's got any questions about New Orleans piano playing, New Orleans piano music, stock market info.
Don't ask him that.
Any good tips for the Grand National? Feel free to send them in. I'll do my best.
Do you want to know where people are from?
Yeah. I love knowing where people are from.
Durham, North Carolina. Yamagata, Japan.
Hey.
London. Cork.
Plano,
Plano,
man,
Texas.
I'm dreaming of a pint of Murphy's now.
New Hampshire. Wilsonville, Oregon. Long Beach, New York. Los Angeles.
Great.
Austin, Texas. Orlando. London, Atlanta. Hurst Green, East Sussex.
Oh, Hurst Green. It's not far from
Phoenix,
where I grew
Arizona. Bethesda. Boston. San Francisco.
up. Hurst Green, Arizona. Well,
Helsingborg.
Helsingborg. It's wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Japan, Ireland, London, United
Catford,
States.
Lewisham.
Catford.
I want to
Yeah.
live in Catford.
Next time I shall take you to I'll show you the glorious highlights of Catford next time we're in Blighty.
They have
Next time
cats there?
we're allowed in.
There's cats there. Nimbin, Australia.
Nimbin, wow.
Mississippi, Pearl River, New York City, Idaho. Eddie Tebby's here.
Eddie! How you doing, Eddie, mate? Well, what do you all want to hear? Now we know where you all are. questions from anybody?
Yes, but first, I want to let you know that in Catford, there is a 12-foot tall fiberglass cat.
Well, I don't know what's top of your places to go list then.
My bucket list. All right, here's a question. Rich Sullivan says, it sounded like your live at Chikiwawa was one performance from one night. We lived that recording. It might mean love. Can you tell us about it?
Well, Chikiwawa is a little saloon bar on Canal Street in New Orleans. And it used to be called the Bus Stop. Boy, that was a funky joint. That was a really wild place. No stories about the Bus Stop. But Chikiwawa is one of the main gigs in town, and it's one of the few places that has a piano. They have a nice 100-year-old Steinway upright piano. Named Ella. Wow. And I play there on Tuesday nights when I'm off the road and when I'm home in New Orleans. I play there Tuesdays, and sometimes I play a show at DBA on Frenchman Street on Thursdays. Because the piano tradition here is something to be venerated. And sadly, there are not that many people that are still playing piano and singing the New Orleans R&B songbook. So it gives me a chance, after a long tour with my band, to come and just play some different songs, stuff that I wouldn't do on an R&B set necessarily, play some old ballads, and it's good for my chops. You know, it's good to play a couple of solo gigs every week. And so, yes, I think that was from one night or a couple of nights. I'm not really sure.
Just a few nights.
Yeah. And live at Chikiwawa, that was, what, 3 years ago?
I think so.
Something like that. All these CDs are available from the website for those of you who still have CD players. And as well as some vinyl, too. We have some vinyl albums there as well, for those of you who have record players. So that's live at Chikiwawa from a few years back.
Here's one.
Yeah.
Chaz Welch says, John, play your third favorite Alan Toussaint tune.
My third favorite. Wow. Well, I'd probably have to sit there and scratch my head and think about that, because I've got lots of many first favorites. They're all number one, really. I don't know if I have any second favorites.
What's one that you like, kind of like?
Wow, there's so many. There was one I used to love years and years ago on a Lee Dorsey record. God, say it again. Oh, let me think of a good tune. Well, now say it again. That's all you got to do is say it again. It's the wrong key.
Sounds like Como Fue.
Yeah, say it again. That's all you got to do is say it again, baby. And I won't ever have to worry. And I won't really have to care. As long as you by my side, baby. I'll say it again. That's all you got to do is say it again. And I won't ever need to worry. Something like that. There's been so many years. I don't know why that one suddenly sprang to mind. There's so many of them.
I wonder if he heard Como Fue before he...
Well, it's a kind of chord progression
really
has been used a lot in song. It's such a great... all the best chord progressions have been seized by songwriters, and the juice has been squeezed out of them every which way. But yeah, you're right. Those changes, just like Como fue, no sé decirte. Como fue, no sé explicarme qué pasó. So on and so on. And there's oh boy, there's another one too, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But Alan Toussaint, wow. There's one called Happy Times. I think it's called Happy Times. Actually, you know, this is a tune that I made a record of exclusively Alan Toussaint songs that I played all the instruments on it and spent about a year making it, meticulously doing it. It came out, and immediately vanished into oblivion. But it's one of my favourites, and it's called A Cappella. But there was a couple of tunes didn't. We had to leave some off because it was too much music. So one was called Happy Times. It's an old record of his, and on the original record, he's billed as Al Toussaint.
Really?
Yeah, Al Toussaint. The Wild Sounds of Al Toussaint. And Happy Times goes. Something like that. I might put that up on the Patreon site, actually. That'd be something that people would dig to hear. So just an outtake that's been sitting in the archives. Yeah.
Can you play Beg, Steal, or Borrow with one hand behind your back?
I can play it with one hand behind my back. I just can't sing it with one hand behind my back. That's a two-hander, that one. You ain't got a beg, steal, or borrow, my love, baby. You ain't got a beg, steal, or borrow, my love. If you wanna get what you want, you gotta work at it real, real hard and be in it to win it. Can't grow it in your own backyard. And if the price that you pay to you would feel real, real high, take good care and cherish and love it until the day you die. You ain't gotta beg, steal, or borrow, my love. Payments, you ain't gotta worry about being late. Put your finger here, honey, on my pulse, and you'll approve of my interest rating. Beg, steal, or borrow. Two-handed version.
Which one should I say next? Okay. Diane Horrigan says, can you play Trisha's favorite song that you sing? Do you even know what that is? There's two.
Not Stairway to Heaven.
That's not my favorite song, and you don't sing it. Skin in the Game or Smile in a While. Go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm gonna play
Come on.
Stairway to Heaven. What is it? Skin in the
That's a
guitar
game
one.
I know, or Smile in a While.
Smile in a While. That's your favourite song?
Yeah.
Is
You
it?
didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
Let me see. I saw you, oh, and then I knew, oh, I want you always, 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 baby. Right here now. Right here in my heart. Suddenly, somehow changed key without realizing. just a smile once in. That's got the most ungraceful modulation you've ever heard. So nice, so nice, so nice to see you. Right here, right here in my heart. And every now and then, you know, my poor heart be saying, why don't you take her in your arms? Mind and body and soul, my body wanna take control. So let it please, let it please, let it please, let it please, let it please. It's an interesting arrangement that you'll never hear on record. Mainly because I'm playing in a different key, because I haven't sung for nearly a year, and so I'm putting all my keys down. Yeah. Woo.
Jonathan Rules says, any memories of Snooks Eaglin? And then Eddie Tebby says, Snooks.
Snooks Eaglin, for those of you who don't know, was a blues guitarist and singer from New Orleans who was blinded very early on and used to sit at home listening to the radio. And as a kid, he somehow got hold of a guitar and blew everybody away because he could just mimic all the songs on the radio. And then I think when he lived up on Washington Avenue as a kid, he would play on the porch and people would gather around to listen to him. And he started getting gigs on sessions at Cosmo's studio, and he actually played guitar on Iko Iko, the original version.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, by Sugar Boy Crawford. And he played guitar on some of the Smiley Lewis records. And was recorded and known. I knew about him, like many people, I think, in England, as an acoustic guitarist, because he made records on the Folkways label, playing 6-string and 12-string guitar. And everybody thought that's what he did, and it was fantastic. They called him the blind Ray Charles, or Little Ray Charles, because he could do a good Ray Charles impersonation. But then he made, when the first time I saw him, he was playing electric guitar and really rocking it. And then I started playing in his band, and we would do trouble funk tunes. He would just pull these songs out of the hat, the weirdest tunes. Winchester Cathedral was one. Funky Malaguena. He would play old New Orleans tunes. Anything that sprung into his mind. He never knew what he was going to play, and he never knew what key he was going to play, and he would just start. And he had long fingernails, like talons, and he didn't use a guitar pick, he used his fingernails. But an amazing voice, great pitch, and a very eccentric character, and we became pretty good friends. And did gigs. First out-of-town gig I did with him was in the 80s out in California, where we were sitting in a little hotel room when I got the call that James Black had just died, the drummer. So he was telling me some James Black stories. But you never knew with Snooks whether he was joking or if he was being serious. And I used to make, he had a little Walkman before CDs. And he would quite often just at the gig, he would just sit there with his headphones on in the corner until it was time to play. Or if we were driving to a gig or backstage. And so I started making him some cassette tapes from records. And he really dug it. I'd make him stuff, Sly Stone records and Johnny Guitar Watson. And he did have a strange sense of humor. I made him a copy of Donny Hathaway Live from the vinyl onto a cassette, and he loved that. And he was listening to it. And one time we were backstage at the Jazz Festival, and he said to me, "Hey, John, that Donny Hathaway Live record, I guess he must have made that before he died, huh?" I think he was being serious. It was a question. I didn't quite know how to answer it, but I said, "Yeah, I think he did." He said, "Yeah, I figured." But the most excited I ever saw Snooks was backstage in a cab in New York once, where we were talking. The drummer had just, Raymond Weber had just come back from Japan and told us what the cost of a McDonald's hamburger was. I'd never seen Snooks so animated. He couldn't believe the price of a Big Mac in Japan. What? What? He wouldn't stop talking about it all the way there. Yeah, Snooks Egan. I really miss Snooks. I had some great gigs with Snooks. Sometimes my band, the Absolute Monster Gentlemen, would back him up. And we'd play at a bowling alley in mid-city New Orleans. And we'd be up there rocking on the stage, and then to our right was a big bowling alley. People would be bowling the balls, a big boomy sound. Yeah, Snooks Egan. God. Well, Alan Toussaint said, because he had a band with Alan Toussaint when they were kids, called the Flamingos, I think, when they were all teenagers. I mean, literally like 14, 15 years old. And we were watching Snooks one time, and Alan said, man, he sounds exactly the same as he did when he was about 14. Just that's how good he was back then, and that's how good he stayed. He was a phenomenal guitar player. New Orleans is not really known for its guitar players, but those guitar players that do come out of New Orleans, because they grow up playing with horn-led bands and piano-led bands, they're familiar with all the flat keys, and they often play a little bit like piano players. And when I used to play with Earl, he had a style that sounded kind of like a piano, with this open string thing they used to do. And then Walter Washington plays all these gorgeous piano chords when he's playing the blues and the flat keys. So, Snooks, oh man.
I'm alright, right?
Yeah.
I'm alright, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and then sometimes he would get really loaded on the gig. It was bad if he got to the sound check too early, especially if we were out of town. It would be bad news. One time we were playing at a joint in New Orleans, and Snooks was got up and played a couple of songs with us, and he started passing out on the stage. So somebody kind of helped him off, and they took him to the bar, and he sat at the bar and woke up and carried on drinking. And we were getting down. He was wobbling on his stool. He was digging it so much, and then the stool gave way, and he fell on the floor and banged his head. And everyone was really freaked out. We carried on playing, so keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. Then an ambulance pulled up, and then. And they took him out on a stretcher through the crowd, and like he was on the stretcher going, I hear you, Cleary! I hear you! I was playing some solo or something. He was drunk as a lord. He was having a great time.
Was his head cut?
Oh, he might have been, yeah.
That's where I think I got that from, because you can't tell.
No, yeah.
Going, I'm all right, right? I'm all right, right?
Oh, boy. You all right? Everybody all right? Yeah, sorely missed. Snooks Egan, wow. Don't slam that door. Ain't gonna tell you no more. I understand. I won't be your man. I love you in every way. Don't slam that door. He did a bunch of those old swamp pop tunes. And then there's every time I kiss somebody new, I make believe I'm kissing you, and I can't keep my aching heart, baby. My heart, I know it's still a part. Each night is like 1,000 years. Oh, I can't lose these young boy blues. It make me cry when I hear your name, but if I cry and I feel so ashamed, and I can't keep my aching heart in. My heart, no, it's still a party. Each night seems like 1,000 years. Oh, baby, since I've got the young boy blues, don't know where to go, don't know what to do now. I'm so lost and worried since you went away. Every time I hear your name, baby, you know I feel so ashamed, and can't get my aching heart in. My know it's still a party. Each night seems like a thousand years. Oh, I can't lose the young boy blue. Can't you get me calling to you, baby? Each night seems like a thousand years. Oh, I can't lose these young boy blues, no baby. Oh, I could do a whole album of songs I learned from Snooks. Man, there's so many. You're so fine. I'll do it now. You're so fine. You're so fine, baby. You're on mine. Oh, there's loads of them.
Lipstick Traces.
Lipstick Traces. Your pretty brown, pretty lips. Pretty brown. You're wavy hair. I don't come on so much, baby, since you're not there. I got it bad, like I told it before. I'm so in love with you. Don't leave me no more. Lipstick traces on a cigarette. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why Alan never produced any Snooks records. That's a puzzle to me. There's no Alan Toussaint productions on Snooks Eagle. Yeah.
Well, he was... I mean, he did that one record that's like the country blues kind of one. And then there were all the Blacktop records.
We did a few of those, the Blacktop records.
then
And you
what
were working at
was-
you used to work
yeah,
at Blacktop Records. So you knew Snooks.
I knew Snooks. But what was in
Yeah.
between?
Hmm?
What was he doing in between? Did he
I
make
don't
any
know. He was
records in
doing gigs
between?
around town.
But he didn't. Was
I
he
just
making
found a
any
beautiful.
records, though?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe it was just Blacktop.
I
then.
just found a beautiful live recording of him from the 60s playing in a little club on St. Roch Street, just near here, doing an version of Stardust with, I guess it's Bob French and George French playing with him. Yeah. All the guys old cats call him Snook.
Hey, Snook,
Hey, Snook, what's happening, Snook?
because there's only one.
I did gigs with him with George Porter and with Smokey Johnson and Irving Charles from Fats Domino's band. Real great education. But Snooks was a Seventh-day Adventist, and he couldn't work. I think he wasn't allowed to work for religious reasons on Friday nights, and so that messed him up for touring. No one could ever really book a tour with Snooks because he refused to play Friday nights.
Mm.
So he pretty much stayed in New Orleans and would occasionally go out of town. I played with him in California. I played with him in New York. I don't think I ever did any out of country trips with Snooks.
Some esoteric requests here.
Okay.
Fats, Be My Guest, Brother I'm Hungry, Sunny Side of the Street, Lonely Man's Prayer, Wash Mama Wash by Dr. John, When You Get Back, Ain't Nobody's Business What We Do, Lonely Lonely Nights, Jesse Belvin tune.
Jesse Belvin tune.
That comes from Sonny Barksdale.
Hey, Sonny. Yeah, that's a familiar name from Chickie-Wah-Wah. I haven't seen Sonny since the last Tuesday night gig before lockdown. I think this is... This is a Jesse Belvin tune, I think. The one I learned from Snooks, too. Someone really loves you. Guess who? Oh, guess who? Well, someone really cares. Guess who? Oh, guess who? that someone that loves you is me. Guess who? Oh, guess who? Open up your heart, baby, and tell me you really care. That someone that loves you is me. Yeah, I think that was Jesse Belvin. Am I right, Sonny?
He says he aced the test.
Ah, well, that's a tune I learned from Snooks. And when I was out, one time I was out touring, playing with Taj Mahal, and we were opening up for B.B. King. It was a great package. It was Taj Mahal, the Neville Brothers, and B.B. King. And so I'd go up and sit on the side of the stage every night, and I'd hear B.B. King singing that tune. Yeah.
Michelle French says, thoughts on Clarence Gatemouth Brown?
You know, I saw Gatemouth Brown a few times, but really, you know, back then there was so much music in town, you kind of took it for granted, really. And I think back of all the chances I had to go and see him.
You never saw
And
him?
I did see him a few times, but I never met him or got introduced to him, which is tragic. You did?
Yeah, well, when I worked at Ultrasonic, because he was always recording in there.
Oh.
And he'd show up. It was a Cadillac or a Lincoln or something, and he was real skinny, and he had a pipe, you know, like a pipe that you'd smoke tobacco in, but it was always full of weed, and he was always packing heat. He always had a gun.
He always had a gun, and he would always drive the tour bus when they were on tour. I know that much. He would get really stoned and then drive the bus. And he'd drive like 10, 12 hours at a time, just get into a zone. But I really wish I'd met him and had a chance to ask him some questions, because, of course, you know, he was a big influence on one of my favourite guys, which is Johnny Guitar Watson. You know, he was one of the classic guitar pickers. But he was also a great fiddle player.
Yeah.
And I saw him fairly early on at Jed's Bar, which disappeared years ago, but Jed's Bar on Oak Street. I was at the Maple Leaf and just strolled across the road. Because the Maple Leaf used to be Jed's across the street and Jimmy's around the corner. And so...
And the Willow Inn.
And the Willow Inn.
On the block.
And you could just walk from one joint to the next. And I was working at the bar, so I knew all the people at all the other bars. You just walk in, sit down. And there was Gatemouth Brown with a 10-piece band with horns. And then you go around to Jimmy's, and Clifton Chenier would be playing. And you come back to the Maple Leaf, and, you know, James Booker or whoever it was. And you kind of took it for granted, really. It's incredible to say that, but yeah.
Should I read some of those requests and a few new ones?
Sure.
St. James Infirmary, Lonely, Lonely Nights, Ain't Nobody's Business What We Do, When You Get Back, Wash Mama Wash by Dr. John.
Wash, mama, wash, and baby, bust them suds. Wash, mama, wash. That's what I remember that tune. That's an obscure Dr. John tune. Well, what else was on that list?
Then Lonely Man's Prayer, When You Get Back.
Lonely Man's Prayer. I'll play a little bit of this because we're doing this on the new record. I want a girl, but she don't have to look like a picture in a Playboy book. care. She can't fry eggs in house. I don't care if she ain't got big legs now. I want a little girl with a master's degree in the art of loving and pleasing me. I want a girl to come on and be with me, be with me. And I don't care if she got big feet, buy her brand new Mercedes and take her feet off the street. I don't care if she was an F student at school, and I don't care, I don't care, 'cause it sure will treat me cool. I want a little girl, but she don't have to look like a picture in a player's book. I want a girl to come on, be with me, be with me, be with me, oh, be with me. There you go. Slightly abridged version. It's called Lonely Man's Prayer. People that come to see my band, we've been playing this on the set for, God, ever since we started. We call it Be With Me.
That's what I thought it was called.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really called Lonely Man's Prayer, you see? All the
I
stuff
learned a
you're
thing.
learning.
So when you were just talking about all the bars before, and
Yeah.
Marsha Ball says, and Carrollton Station.
And Carrollton Station, but it wasn't called Carrollton Station then. Hi, Marsha. How are you, my darling? Back then it was called the Willow Inn, but all the locals called it the Syringe Inn because they had a payphone, and that's where all the junkies, the junkie bikers, used to hang out by the payphone there or by the payphone at the Maple Leaf. And they were a nice crowd. They were nice, but they were always a little bit nervous, and they were always waiting for the phone to ring.
They used to have a chicken drop too. Do you remember the chicken drop? They did that at Carrollton Station. It was
No.
like a on the floor. It was like a grid on the floor, and you would put your money on one of the squares in the grid, and then they put a chicken. And when the chicken poops on your square, you win all the money.
What a great idea.
Chicken drop.
Wow. A game of skill. Yes. If you go to it's called Carrollton Station now, but if you go, there's stained glass above the door and it still says Willow Inn. Yeah.
Here's another request for Zulu Coconuts.
Wow. This is another tune that's going to be on the new record. You can take your dirty hands off my Zulu coconuts. You can take your dirty hands off my Zulu coconuts. I don't want no ifs or buts. Take your hands off my nuts. Coconuts. Walk by. Was it? You can knock on my front door. No, you can come on by my house. You can knock on my front door. You can drink up all my liquor. You can pass out on the floor. You can have my cash money and the keys to my car. But you can't touch, 'cause that's too much. Now you've gone too far, baby. Take your dirty hands off my Zulu coconuts. Leave them nuts alone. Leave them nuts alone. I don't want no ifs or buts. Just take your hands off my nuts. Coconuts. What are you laughing at? It's a serious song. It's about coconuts.
Right.
Oh, see, mine's in the gutter. So yeah, that's a little taste, a little teaser taste of a very serious tune, a moving ditty, sentimental piece of music from the heart.
Butt, that big fat butt.
Oh, all right, calm down. We're on the radio here.
It's not
Bloody
the
hell.
radio.
And I'm the one that's drinking the cocktails.
This is not the radio.
Well, no, I suppose it's not the radio.
You can't argue with that. Something you got, St. James Infirmary, Lonely, Lonely Nights, Be My Guest, Brother, I'm Hungry, When You Get Back.
Wow. Problem is, you give one. It's nice that people like these songs. I ended up playing the same songs on every bloody Quarantini hour, though, if I could do that. Unless I do them differently, you have to write some more songs. She loved me fine when I was riding from Hong Kong, and she dug it even better, calling long distance on the phone, and cool and sexy, getting a postcard from Brazil. Oh, but now I'm here back home, and all she wanna give me is a cheer. She said, when you get back, we're gonna cha-cha all night long. But she lied, oh babe, when you get back, we're gonna sing a different song. But she lied, when you get back, everything be on you cool. Oh yes it will, baby. When you get back, baby, I'll take care of you. Well, you know she lied. Yeah, you know that she lied. You know that she lied. You know that she lied. Oh, well, well. Sort of a version of When You Get Back. Because all these songs can be played lots of different ways, and it's usually one way that ends up getting on the bandstand or on the record, and that becomes the arrangement. But there's been times when I've tried them out in different keys and different kind of attitudes and grooves. But that seems to be a very popular one When You Get Back, and I think I need to re-record it really, because the version we cut on the Absolute Monster Gentleman record was an album that was really hastily thrown together, and I think I'd like to re-record it one of these days. Maybe I'll do that on the Patreon thing. But that'll happen when I get this new record finished. That's all consuming. So much so that I don't know if we'll be a Patreon Quarantini hour next week, as we're in recording mode, and I might need to have all the mics plugged into other things. So keep posted. Yes. Keep posted on that one. I'll let you know on Facebook. Yeah, any more questions from people?
A lot of requests. Stepping in on your thing.
Oh. You know you had a real good thing, and you just botched your good thing in. And I'm trying to tell you, the program's changed. I'm about to stepping on anything. I'm stepping in on your thing, stepping in on your thing. I'm stepping in on your thing. I keep trying to remember the words to the I mean, I haven't played these songs for so long. You're way too cool to treat your sweet thing right. Out hanging out with your gang each and every night. You know you had a real good thing. Now you done watched your good thing in. Now I'm trying to tell you the program's changed. I'm about to step on in. But you really messed up bad. Talking about the best thing that you ever had. And I can't truly say that I'm sorry. Don't be hanging around the door. Don't you know the key don't work no more? You better listen good now. Just to use, hell used to be. Now she's getting used to something hipper with me. Oh, baby, here I come stepping on in. Stepping in on your thing, yeah. You about to say something?
Were you about to play something?
Did I interrupt you?
Jazz Essential says, who were your favorite sax players that you worked with?
Amity Castanel, Creole sax tenor player who lives up in Boston. He's been up in Boston now for about 20 years. Amity Castanel, really great tenor player. He was in a band called Chocolate Milk and was on Alan Toussaint records, and would always play with Alan when he was in town. Red Tyler used to be a sax player here called Red Tyler. He was really, really good. He used to play with my band sometimes. He was on all the great records from Cosmo's studio. Used to be a guy called Fred Kemp. James Rivers, who is from that old Dewdrop-In generation, who's still playing strong and was a guest on the Quarantini Hour shortly after lockdown.
Yeah.
Ryan Zoidis is really good from Lettuce, really great tenor player. Joe Sublette out in California, he's a Texas guy, but he's a really great player, great tenor player. There have been a bunch of them. We had a guy on Quarantini last week, Roger Lewis from the Dirty Dozen. He plays baritone and has a sound like nobody else. Oh God, so many. Yeah, so many great tenor players from here.
More songs. Been and Gone.
Well, now you can slam that door, baby, one more time, and I'll be gone. I ain't lying, I'm long gone. Been running show too long. Don't look for me, I'll be and gone. You can shake your tail feathers, speak your mind. You can holler and shout, babe, I ain't lying, I'm long gone. Been running show done been and gone.
Here's a question about music.
Ah,
It's a technical question
okay.
from Mary Mel.
How many beats
Bell.
in a bar?
No,
Okay. How many notes in a song?
no.
Okay. Try another one.
Hey John, the sheet music I've seen to Big Chief shows it starting on E flat. Flat is a little B, right?
Yeah.
Shows it starting on E flat B chord, but it sounds like the melody outlines a B flat 7. Wait, let me start over again. See, the sheet music I've seen to Big Chief shows it starting on an E flat chord, but it sounds like the melody outlines a B flat 7 augmented chord to me. Your thoughts, please?
Yes. Next. No, you're right. You're exactly right. Because it's the riff plays before the downbeat. So when the band comes in, yes, it's in E flat. 3, 4, bam, 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 or bam, 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 or bam, 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 bam. One time I was playing with Mac Rebennack, and he said, you want to do the Wardell version? And I realized, yeah, of course, that kind of is. That's Wardell Kazer's arrangement, but I don't know that. I think Fest played it different every time he played it. But before that happens is the riff. And that's where the downbeat is. And now you're in E flat, but you're right, the setup. And everyone plays it differently. I don't know if I'm playing it right, but it's... I changed. I think he plays it with a B flat, and I put a 7th in the front. I kind of like that because it's a bit more loaded. Everything in that chord tells you. It's like the guitar chord at the beginning of Lonely Nights if you slow it down. There have been some lonely, lonely nights. So it's that same thing. When you play a B7th. And then you augment or sharpen that note, that 5, an augmented 5 with the 7. You're right. That's the. It's one of the first things I tried to learn on a piano when I was a kid, and I couldn't do it with one hand. I play it like this, and I do it in C. We go. It wasn't quite right, but I like the extra note. But you do need 2 hands to play that. Yeah, so you're right. It's the setup. Is a 5 chord with a 7th and an augmented 5. You're exactly right. I'm a big chief and I've got my tribe. Got my squaw right by my side. I think that's how he meant it to be played.
Yeah. All right, ready? One final question.
All right.
From Steve Lind.
Yeah.
Does Frady still do frog legs on Tuesdays?
What day is it today?
No, they do meatloaf. That's what we had for
I
dinner.
got oyster po' boy from there today, and today's Tuesday.
Yeah. And meatloaf. You got me meatloaf for dinner.
Chicken.
Chicken.
They'd run out of meatloaf.
Was it? We tried for meatloaf.
It was red beans yesterday,
and
I think all the meatloaf are gone. Frogs. All I can tell you is that frog's legs weren't on the menu at Frady's today.
Have they been?
Because I was at Frady's today.
You wouldn't have gotten the frog's legs.
No, but I did see one sort of crippled frog hobbling out the back.
Oh, poor frog. Grandmother ordered
a bit
them.
for free.
My grandmother ordered
That was a
frog
bit odd. A
legs
one-legged frog.
My grandmother ordered them one time, and then she was making them dance, and then she started crying, and she couldn't eat them.
Have you met my wife?
Oh, Hilda.
Well, on the very sad story of the
frogs.
of the D-legged frogs. Auntie Hilda crying.
Grandma.
Grandma Hilda crying into her frog leg salad as the legs danced happily away, made a bid for freedom. On that very sorry and sad note, I think it's time for us to bid you adieu. And thank you very much. Thank you to all the new Patreon people who have joined up. I hope you dug the piano thing the other day. And I keep forgetting, I have a list of names to read out of all the new Patreon people. I'm supposed to do it, but I'm so forgetful. I haven't consigned them all to memory, I'm sorry to say.
Next time.
Next time, I promise. So thank you. There's a hurricane hurrying our way.
There's a heroine coming our way.
There's a hurricane heading our way. And so assuming we're not washed off the face of the earth tomorrow night,
so hopefully
we shall be here to quarantine further. But as I say, maybe not next week because we might be in the middle of doing some sessions, some background vocals or percussion or horns or who knows what. Bassoon, might be a whole bassoon section coming in, a triangle orchestra.
How about vibes?
Vibes would be nice, yeah. So some Russian balalaika players.
We have a balalaika. It's up on the
Do we?
shelf.
Oh, you big show off.
It's my balalaika. It is. It's my balalaika.
You can take your dirty hands.
Off my
all right. God, you're doing so well too. All the way up to 9 o'clock, and then you had to let go at the end, didn't you? God, bloody hell.
You said balalaika.
It was the frog's legs that set her off. Sorry about that, everybody. Anyway, I've got to go because my cocktail, my Quarantini's run out. So that's how I know. And we got this one through this one without it crashing.
No problems at all.
Wow, how weird.
I don't know
anyway,
what the deal is.
keep posted. The Quarantini hour might be moving to Patreon if we can figure out a good format that works for everybody. Thank you, and see you soon, hurricanes permitting. Cheers.